My father's name was Richard Mann, and he came to see Dr. Maykel and was treated by Dr. Maykel for cluster migraine headaches. My father has been deceased now for 10 years, but I can remember growing up with my dad, seeing him in that condition with the headaches that he used to get every day. They were so severe that at times he would sit in a room in darkness with his head in his hands, and all you could remember seeing were tears in his eyes. And I also can remember that where he worked, in his office, he would close the door and he would lay on the floor and actually start to bang his head on the floor to try to make them go away. My father had the headaches as long as I can remember. I would say that he did have them for 30 years, 40 years. My dad saw the neurosurgeon and he went to Mass General. A lot of doctors, and they could never really help him at all until he found Dr. Maykel. Dr. Maykel helped my father through kinesiology and nutrition and body alignment, and I guess the root of the problem was in his neck. By adjusting my father's neck, that was the best therapy, and actually ended up curing his headaches. As we talked about earlier, it was excruciating pain that that you would actually commit suicide over. That's how bad my father's headaches were when he started seeing Dr. Maykel. And then over a period of 1 year's time, his headaches were totally gone. But I can remember him talking about coming in, hugging Dr. Maykel and thanking him because he had spent so many years going to specialists and doctors that it would never help him at all. And here's Dr. Maykel that was 30 minutes away, completely cured his headaches when nobody else could. Well, the quality of my father's life definitely changed. He didn't have to deal with those headaches and the medicines and going to Mass General and dealing with the neurosurgeons. I think that's partially why when he saw Dr. Maykel, would always give him a hug, and so he really changed his life for the better. My father worked for Flexcon, as we know, and he was the director of international sales. His coworkers in the office would happen to know when he was having them. He would close the door and turn off his lights, and they wouldn't bother him. You know, they knew that he was suffering too, not to be disturbed. I'm sure it was better for him at work. You know, he could concentrate on his job duties. His personality changed. He wouldn't have to close the door, and the door was always the open policy for him. So it did end up changing his life.